Hey guys, people are still filtering in, so we're gonna give it a couple more minutes before we start up.
If you haven't met with her.
All right, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Hear me? Yes? No? Maybe so.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So we are all here because we want to learn about commissions, which is the replacement for green sheets. So anybody who's been with us a while knows all about green sheets and submitting those through mykw.kw.com. But we are now moving to commissions in Command. And I find the feature to be easier than green sheets personally. And it also then puts all your information in one spot. It'll all be in Command versus needing to go to Command for your documents and MyKW for your green sheet submission. So I am going to go and share my screen. I'm assuming everybody can see my screen now. Thumbs up if you can. Cool. Thank you, Joanna. Okay, so I just created a brand new opportunity for this example. So when you create your opportunity, it's going to throw you here in your details page. So one thing you're going to need to know for submitting commissions is you will not be able to even submit the commission to your MCA unless you put the property here. So it will give you an error message saying that you need to like attach a listing to it. It's referring to adding the property address here in this box. So if you don't know about it, you just go here to this little pencil icon at the top right. It opens up a search box. You can start typing in your address and it'll pull the information. I'm just going to use the Stanford office, and then it autofills everything else for you. If there is a apartment number, unit number, suite number, you just have to manually add that to address line 2. So we are suite 700. And then click save. So that's one thing to always remember. If you get to the end and there's an error message about, it's missing a listing, it's probably referring to the property box in the details tab. So in order to do the commissions, the new green sheet, you go to the offers and commissions tab, which is to the right of your documents tab. And here, sorry, I'm just going to move our faces out of the way. Second, I gotta let people in the room. Sorry about that, just letting some people in. All right, so yeah, so you have to go to your offers and commissions tab. That's the first thing that you need to do. And it'll say that you have no offers for this deal. And the first step you need to do is you need to add a new offer. So you just click on this button. It lets you pick a name for the offer. If you have a listing and you've got multiple offers coming in from multiple people, you can create different offers in Command. So you can name them all different things, or you can just leave it as, initial offer, offer 1, whatever makes most sense to you. And guys, feel free to unmute yourselves if you have a question as I'm going along. And I will, if I can answer it then, I will. If not, we can answer questions at the end as well. So this is the first part of the offer. It gives you the offer name. It wants you to put in the offer date. So it opens up this calendar. Just put in the date of the initial offer. Let's just say it was September 1st. And the closing date for the transaction. So let's just say October 20th. That's all you have to do here. And then you can go to the next page by clicking the parties button here. And here it just wants the person on both sides of the transaction, as well as the agent representing them. So it autofills your information. This was a listing, so it autofilled my seller's name here, their email address, me as the agent, and my email address. So the only thing you need to fill in is whoever's on the other side. In this case, it's the buyer. So the buyer for this one is Zelda, and the associate is going to be Anno Costa, just because I can see you on my screen. So you're the agent representing Zelda on this purchase. So the rest of the information is all optional. There's no asterisk next to email, phone, fax. If you want to add it, you can, but it's not required for this step. You can also mark whether or not the individual is pre-approved or pre-qualified. But again, a lot of that is just optional. And if you're just looking to submit your transaction and get paid, you can put in the bare minimum, the name of the other party and the associate who's representing them. And then once you're done with that, you just click on terms. So here, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but again, most of this is optional if you're just looking to submit your transaction to the market center to get paid. So the only thing you actually have to do is this top section here. Cash plus finance amount equals the sales price. So it doesn't let you click into the sales price to put that in. You have to put in the cash and the finance amount separately, and the system will automatically add them up to equal the sales price. So maybe this person is putting down 50,000 and they're financing 450,000 for a sales price of 500,000. Again, the rest of this would be the earnest amount, maybe it's 1%. You can put that here, but it's not a requirement in order to proceed with the commissions in order of submitting it. And most of these down here, option fees, termination options, are not generally stuff that we use in our area, but other Keller Williams offices around the country use them more frequently. So that's why they're included. But you don't need to do anything here for this section. So once you've put in the cash and finance amount to get to the sales price, you can go ahead and click on this button here for agent analysis. And this page is just completely optional. There's nothing you have to do here. This would be a place where if you're putting in maybe multiple offers to show your client, you could put in the pros of this particular offer, the cons, just a general summary, and then you could compare these with your client later. And you could have them all stored in here in Command. But again, this is completely optional. If you're just looking to submit, you can go and click Save. And once you click Save, you'll have the offer here. And you can, of course, add as many offers as you want, as many offers as you have. But you can only have one commission request active at a time. So in order to get to the commission request, you have to have an accepted offer. So just go ahead and click Accept. And then once you've done that, you'll see the buttons change to Change Response, which allows you to edit this offer if there are any changes to it, or Manage Commission, which is the part everybody wants to get to because that's what you're submitting in order to get paid. So once you click Manage Commission, it's going to bring you to this screen. And this is what has most of the information that like the green sheet would have. So there's a couple of sections that you have to edit. The first thing here is the general information section. This pulls information from your offer that you just submitted. So it pulled my sales price, the commission rate that I had entered when I first created my opportunity is pulled in there, but you can make any edits to this. If the sales price changed, went up, went down between when you enter the offer and when you're doing the commission, you can always change that here as well as the commission rate. And it'll just auto calculate if you do that. So it updated now to 10,000 instead. Total units, it's just going to give you one. And then it's asking for the contract and the close date. Again, the close date it pulled from my commission submission that I did. I said it was the 20th, but you can go ahead and edit this. You just click this little calendar icon and then scroll down and it opens the calendar and you can change the closing date. Maybe it's closing on the 29th now. Same thing with the contract date. You just click this little calendar and then scroll down. That's one of the biggest complaints that I've gotten, not even complaints. People try to type in here what the date is. It doesn't let them. They click on it and they don't realize that it opened a calendar beneath and you just have to scroll down a little bit. So it's just asking for when the contracts were signed. Maybe contracts were signed today. So once you have entered this little bit of information here, just updated contract and closing dates, you can save changes. It'll update right over here. And then the next section down here is your agent payment section. So this is where it'll calculate out your royalty, your company dollar. It has deductions. So in order to change things like the deductions, you just go to the edit agent payment section. So you are here and you may notice I changed the commission rate up here and it's $10,000. Here it still says 12,000. All you have to do is calculate commission. If you make any changes to the general information section at the top, just make sure you come back down here and click calculate commission and it'll refresh this number based on what you put in the general information section. So it updated that. Might still be calculating the royalty and company dollar off the original, but if I were to X out, go back in, so it's calculating royalty, company dollar. And then this is where you would put in donations to KW Cares, KW Kids Can, and the Bold Scholarship. So you could put in anything, you know, maybe you're donating $10 to KW Cares, maybe it's nothing. And that's pretty much it for this section. However, if you have anything additional on your transaction, for instance, if you are part of productivity coaching, if you have an outside referral to someone in another brokerage, for those items, you would add them here at the very bottom. It says extra payment options, and then it says referrals, bonuses, deductions, concessions. So if you do have anything like that, you would go and click on the add item button. It opens up a box and asks you to pick which additional element you're adding, whether it's a concession, deduction, referral, etc. So if you are in productivity coaching with Jen Henry, that would be a deduction. So you would click deduction. It asks for the dollar amount. So for deductions, it makes you kind of calculate it manually. That's the only downside to that. So you would just need to take whatever percent you're at in coaching and just calculate that off the gross and add that amount here. So we were doing 10,000 was our gross commission. So if I owe 10% to Jen, it would be that. These are optional, tax ID and tax ID type. Description, if you're in productivity coaching, just you can put PC, you can put productivity coaching. I'll know what you mean if you just put PC. Pay to Jen Henry. It asks for the address. You can just put the office address in. We really don't need one, but it's required. And same thing with the phone number, 203-276-700. The most important thing to remember is to enter this if you are in coaching and to make sure you have the right amount for whatever your split is. You can go ahead and add that. If you were doing a referral, it's the same thing. And then you can see here, PC was added underneath my deduction, my other deductions, and it's also taking that off the commission. So you could add another item. Maybe you have a referral to another brokerage. So outside referral. This one allows you to just put in a percent and it'll calculate the percent of the gross. So maybe it's a 25% referral. And here it does require you to put in a tax ID type and a tax ID. If you have the W-9 from the person that gave you this referral, that's great. You can enter in their information here. If you don't, tax ID type is most likely always going to be an EIN. But for the tax ID, in order to kind of fool the system and keep going with the commission, just use the fake number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0 through 8. That number, specifically that number, will trick the system and allow you to continue proceeding with your submission. If you try to put in like all zeros or all nines, it's gonna kick it back and say that it's not a real number. Or if you do 1 through 9 instead of 0 through 8, it's going to give you the same error. It's very picky, but this 0 through 8 number lets you proceed. The next thing down here is just asking for the company name. You know, maybe it's banker. Agent name is John Smith, and then it's looking for their brokerage address. I don't actually remember what Coldwell Bankers is.
Sam, I just have a question.
Sure.
So are we supposed to, so let's just say I would be the listing agent and this was designated agency. Would I be putting the referral in, well, not referral, but whatever in there? Or is there another place for the designated agency? Because you know you have that percentage split. Where do we do this?
So if you're doing designated agency and it's 2 agents in your market center, each agent should really be submitting their own separate commission request. So you're going to add them as a co-broker, which I'll show you next. but they should also be submitting their own commission request. So we, instead of the old way where only the listing agent submitted the green sheet for both parties, now each agent or each party should be submitting their own commission request to the office. So I'm just going to finish this up. I added these. So I added my referral. I'm getting like no money because I'm paying Jen and a referral. And once you're done here, you can save changes. You can always edit this later if you made a mistake right here. So when you're talking about a co-broker, and that's whether that's somebody in our office, not in our office, that goes under this section here. That's add co-broker payment. So this little button here, you open it up. It asks for a commission percent. As the listing agent, you will know how much the buyer's agent is getting. If you're the buyer's agent, you're probably not going to know how much the listing agent is receiving. Just duplicate what you're getting if you don't know. The system requires it, but you're not going to know the information. So we'll just say it's 2.5%. It again asks for a tax ID and tax ID type. Do the same thing, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tax ID type EIN. If we do need to get the W-9 for any reason, like we're paying out a referral, your market center will reach out to that referral for their W-9. If you do have it though, of course, you can always enter that information. Then it asks for the company name. Maybe this one's this. And then it says pay to. Without the W-9, you're not going to know what their DBA or pay to name is. So just duplicate what it is here. So it's William Ravis, and then whoever the agent on the other side is. His name is Bob Jones, apparently. And again, it asks for the brokerage address. And this information you should just be able to pull right off of the MLS for them. And again, same thing, it tries to find the address for you. So you can just start typing in. Once you see it, you can click it and it'll put the whole rest of the address in there. 39999. Email is totally optional. But we do want this co-broker information because in most situations, you know, if it's a rental transaction, for instance, we are either billing the landlord's brokerage, or we're paying the tenant's brokerage. So we need to know who we're billing or who we're paying. So it's important to remember to put in the co-broker information. Same thing with like listing invoices. We invoice for both the buyer's brokerage and the listing brokerage when it's one of our listings. So we want to have that information there so that we can bill accordingly. So once you're done here, you can save it. It pulls them up here. And if you click on the little triangle, you can then see all the rest of the information that you inputted. If you are on a team or you are splitting this transaction with somebody else in the market center on the same side of the transaction, for that, you would use this add another agent function, which is right over here. So when you do that, it opens up this box and it allows you to search for agents in your market center. But it'll only work, of course, on agents in your market center. So you can't do this if you're, you know, co-listing with somebody in Ridgefield versus Stamford or any other market center. It's got to be only our agents. So then you can put in their name, give them the units they're supposed to get. Maybe I'm splitting this 50-50 with Fiona. Calculate commission. It gives her half of that $10,000 gross I was getting. It allows you to put in KW cares and all that for them. Unless you are 100% sure and they've told you what they want, I would just not put it in just so you don't play around with other people's money. I'll put it in for Fiona. Fiona usually donates $10. And then you can save the changes. And you will now see I have a spot down here for Fiona underneath me. Now, because I added Fiona to this, I would need to go back to mine and I would need to change my agent units. Because now it's only one unit for the side of the transaction and I can't be giving out 1.5 units. So then I could adjust this to 0.5 and calculate the commission. and save the changes. So now I'm getting half of the units, Fiona's getting half of the units, and everything's good in that section. So the last thing that you need to remember to add to this, and nowhere on the commission request does it actually say to do this, but there's this little add note button right over here. If you click it, it just opens up a blank box. It's like the notes on the green sheet. You know, you just can type in anything you want us to know, but in particular, if this is a sale or a listing, this is where we need the seller's attorney information, because that's who we're going to bill for your commission. So you would need to enter their information here. So like Seth Arnowitz. You should be putting in the name, email, address, phone number, if you have all that information, particularly at least the name and the email. Usually I can look up the address online. I cannot look up attorney email addresses. They just aren't listed on their websites. So putting in that information here is very important. I don't know what his email is. I forgot it. And then any other details that you might want us to know about this, you know, maybe there's, you know, a concession or a deduction against the sales price and you want us to bill off of a lesser amount because that's what you guys agreed upon. So you could add that information here, you know. Bill 95K concession. So anything you want us to know that would help us when we're invoicing can go here, as well as the seller's attorney information. You may get commissions. If you forget to put in the attorney's information, you'll get it kicked back to you, asking you to put it in. Please note, when I say put it in the notes section, it's not this notes tab up here. That's what I get a lot of is I'll ask people to put the attorney information in the notes section, and people say, oh, and click on this and brings them to this add a note section. You guys can see that, but the MCA division can't actually see those. So I've had people put the notes in there and then they say they submitted it. However, I can't see it. None of us in the MCA department can see it. This is only for you. So it has to be in this add notes section here. And of course you can edit and remove a note here. And once you are done with everything, you have to make sure you go ahead and submit your commission requests. You know, I've gotten ones where people do the whole thing and then they just forget to click the submit button. It happens to everybody. Just remember to click submit. It's going to ask you again if you want to make donations. You can just skip the donations if you want to, or you can make donations here. And once I click that, sure is taking a long time.
Sam,
Yes.
once I submit this paper here, can I fix it?
So no, once you submit it, good question, Angela. Once you click the submit button, you cannot change it yourself. It won't let you click any of these buttons to edit. If you need to make a change, you can just reach out to your MCA department. Just shoot them an email saying, oh my God, I just submitted, you know, the commission for XYZ property. I forgot to add in the co-broker. I forgot to put in a deduction or a referral, and we can just send it back to you.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no way for you to edit it once it's kind of like green sheets where once you submitted everything and it was set, you couldn't edit it anymore. You had to reach out to the MCA department. It's similar here. So once you've submitted it, you'll see the status up here is changed to submitted. And you are, for the most part, good to go. You'll see that the submit button was changed to request termination. So if at any point after you've submitted it, the deal falls apart for whatever reason, you can actually just click the request termination button and it sends us a notification. And we can go ahead and terminate this transaction. You don't have to email us or whatnot. You can just click request termination and it will send us a notification. And then we can just, you know, terminate it on our end. So
Another question.
Yeah.
If you are basically working on it and then you have to leave for some reason, does it automatically save, or do we have to save something so we don't lose it? Because many times when I was doing the green sheet, I started and then I got a phone call or something, and then everything was lost. So how does this work?
So it should just automatically save anything you've done, as long as you've, click the save and close button in one of these, at the bottom, there was a save button. Once you click save, it stays there until the next time you come in. So you can start it, come back later, add things, take out things until you click the submit button. Once you click submit, you're just going to have to reach out to your MCA in order to get it pushed back to you so that you can make any changes that you need to make. So that's pretty much the basics of the commission requests. We do ask that you guys pay attention to the notifications. Sometimes you'll get the commission request returned, and it has to be resubmitted to the market center, just like the green sheet would need to be resubmitted in order for us to process it. So even if you have the commission request could be completely right, but maybe you're missing some documents in the document section. In that case, we will, write the notes in the document section. You're missing lead paint disclosure, whatever may be missing. And then we'll return the commission request as well. Once you've submitted that document that's missing, go back and resubmit your commission request again. Because that resubmission is kind of the flag on our end that you've made the change that needs to be made. Otherwise, we get, 1,000 notifications a day that an agent uploaded a document or, changed a document. So the only way to keep track of when someone makes a change that we need and they're just not uploading a new listing is to resubmit the commission request. Are there any questions about the commission requests?
Sam, I have a
Obviously.
question.
Sure.
For the referrals, I know these are outgoing referrals, right? What if we're expected a referral from another market center someplace else?
Yeah, so if you guys are expecting a referral, you don't need to submit a commission request, just like you did not have to submit a green sheet for an incoming referral payment.
Yeah.
All you have to do is create an opportunity for that referral and upload your referral paperwork, like your referral form, to the document section. So, in the documents, and again, if you're in Ridgefield, these documents might look a little bit different because I'm in Stanford and this is just the way we have our list set up. They're mostly similar, but there might be things in different orders. So like the referral forms down here, you create the opportunity, upload your referral form, and then just make sure you click the submit to MC button. That's another tip, is you have to click submit to MC on your documents in order for the MCA department to see them. So if you have all your documents uploaded and you didn't click submit to MC, we're not going to be able, it's not going to come up under your name. It's not going to come up under the address. It's just, we're not going to be able to see it. So you have to remember to click submit to MC, similar to how, in .loop, you had to submit your loops.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody
Sam,
else? Yep.
Yeah, I have two questions in the chat box.
Oh, we're chat box that now.
I can read them, but I mean, I put them there.
Sorry, I was going on. No, I can look at the chat. Okay, so in order to, you can go back to, since, if you have somebody else submitting your paperwork for you, like use leverage out or something like that, it's still under your profile. So if you do go to offers and commissions, you can just see right here, this has been submitted. If it's pushed back to you, it'll say it's been returned. If it's been approved by the MCA department, it will either say approved or imported. Approved means we clicked accept. Imported means we actually pulled it over to the backend system. And it'll be green instead of this bluish color. And if it's returned, it'll be red. So if you see it's returned, you can always go into your commission, and then down here will be a message from the MCA as to why it was returned. And you can, make whatever corrections need to be made and then resubmit it. going back to what Fiona had said earlier about, designated agency, where it's, two agents in the same market center. Both of them, like I said, will be submitting their separate commission requests. And we do that because, if the other agents on a team, you may not know what their team splits are. Maybe they have a referral that you wouldn't know about, that you wouldn't be able to put on your commission request. So we ask for that information from them, and then we'll just use both information to pull through the commission request. If it is designated agency and both agents are in our market center, we only accept, or we only pull through one commission request, usually the listing agent's commission request. We refer to the buyer's agent's commission request and put any information they have. But if we accept both, then for each of these transactions, we have 2 entries in our system, and it just becomes confusing when we have 2 different entries for the same thing. Maybe one person has one closing date, one person has a different closing date. So in order to avoid that, we just accept usually the listing agent's commission, and you'll get as the buyer's agent, you'll get your commission request returned with a note that says accepted listing agent commission request, added your information to it, no need to resubmit. And in that case, that means we pulled everything through on the listing agent side, added you to it, and you're all set. There's no need for you to click submit again. We took care of that. Trying to think.
Where do you
anything else.
find the invoice, if invoice has been?
So invoices will be in the document section, and then in the closed folder over here. At least this is again how it looks in the Stanford Market Center. We have a spot, this will be defunct now, the green sheet spot. And this is where you'll find a copy of the invoice. So you can view it. There'll be an attachment here. You can just take a look at it, view it. I typically CC you guys on all the invoices that go out anyways. So you should receive a copy in your email. But if you have to double check, maybe the attorney's saying they never got it, and they're just asking for it, you could always just pull up the invoice from here and just send it to them, or ask me and I can send it to them. As well as your check stub and the DA for the transaction will also be here after it closes. So it gets a copy that gets uploaded. Since many of you have direct deposit now, it's kind of hard to keep track. So this will show you the closing paperwork for that transaction. So you'll know that you got paid if you see the DA in your opportunity.
Thank
Anybody?
you. So in this example here, 495 is the amount that you invoice. It is after the 5K concession, which means that the sales price is 500, right?
Yep. So the sales price was 500,000, and then as just a note to my MCA department, I said please bill off of 495K. There's a 5K concession. That way they know when they're billing, because when we're billing, we're just going to bill off of the information you submit here, unless we're told something otherwise. And this is a good place to put it because it's permanently there. It's not a separate email. It's right there when we're doing any invoices.
Sam,
Anybody else? Any other
Yeah.
questions?
I got a quick
Yes, I
question.
do have.
Well, I have time.
Alan,
Calvin,
go ahead.
do you have a question? Go ahead, Calvin.
Once this is all done, the check gets deposited in what period of time after? Monthly, or how do you do it?
So when we receive commission checks, if it's an attorney's check, it usually takes 2 days to clear. So you'll receive your deposit 2 business days after we receive the check. If it's a personal check, maybe a landlord wrote out a check for a rental from their personal account, those take 5 business days to clear. But usually you'll receive it within 5 business days, regardless of the check type. But remember, if you drop off a check to the office and everything is not complete, you don't have all your documents in, the commission's not submitted or not submitted properly, that's going to hold up you getting paid, because we can't deposit the check until we have a completed file.
So you don't hold up transactions if you've got multiple transactions? You pay as they come in?
Oh, yeah, no, we pay as they come in. People get checks every day. We're issuing out commission checks. I have a stack right here that I have to hand out today. So yeah, people get paid every day,
Sam,
every
Thank
business day.
Sam.
Yep, Angela.
So, can I just put just the accepted offer there, or do I have to put every single offer that I receive?
No, that's totally optional. That's up to you guys. It's a function of command for you. If you want to put multiple offers in for your own purposes or to kind of compare with your client. But to get paid, you just need the one accepted offer.
Thank you.
Hi, Sam. Just got a quick question for you.
Sure.
If it gets kicked back, will we receive an email alert, or we have to go back in the command to see if it's been kicked back for whatever reason?
So I believe it's just here in the bell icon up top. I know you get email notifications when it's when like a document is returned or the folder is returned in the document section. I'm not 100% if emails are going out for the returned commission request, but you'll get like a red dot here. And you click on this and it gives you, I don't have any notifications, but it would give you notifications here about it. You can always just, go back and check if it shows it's returned, just take a look at whatever the message is. Always, if you see a return one, check the message. It could just be that it's designated agency and we accepted the other agents, but you always just want to make sure that nothing was wrong with your transaction.
Okay, thank you.
Sam, can you point it please for me? I missed where we put in Jan's commission.
Oh, sure. So Jen's commission, of course, I can't edit this now. So Jen's commission would be in this section. So you would click edit agent payments. And then when you scroll to the bottom of that screen, unfortunately, because I submitted this, I can't edit it to show you. There'll be an extra payment options at the very bottom. And you choose from a drop-down menu, deduction, and then you would be able to enter information for Jen Hen.
Thank you.
Yeah, so. Anybody else? Any questions about submitting this or documents or something?
I have a question. I know you're doing a listing scenario, but for
Yeah.
a buyer scenario, how does that start on here?
So everything is the same for a buyer versus a listing, honestly. You put in the offer.
Right.
Of course, when you're putting in the offer, it's not going to ask you who the buyer's agent is. It's going to ask you who the listing agent is. That's the only real difference, I think. And then once you come here, again, everything's the same. It's going to ask for the commission rate. The commission rate is always your commission rate. If this is a listing, it's still just asking for what you're receiving. So it's not asking for the full 6%. It's asking for the 3 or 2.5 or whatever it is you're keeping. But everything is mostly the same. Excuse me. Just know that if you're doing a rental, if you're submitting a rental in Command, this tab is just going to say commissions. It's not going to say offers and commissions, and there is no offer step. So it just goes straight to this screen if it's a rental. Anybody else have any other questions? Wow. Surprised. I expected a lot more questions on this since it's new for a lot of people.
Hey Sam, I have a question.
Sure.
For productivity coaching commission, right? When you did it, you had to calculate the percentage yourself. It's not like you can enter the percentage number.
Yeah, yeah.
So do we do the percentage, the 10% from the agent gross commission or the net to agent commission?
So it's going to. Why am I getting $190? That sucks. So you base it off of your gross commission. It's not off the net. So Jen gets paid off of the gross that's coming in, not after company dollar and royalty.
Okay.
However, if you do have a referral, she gets paid after the referral. So, if you're getting paid, $5,000 and you're paying out $1,000 referral to somebody, Jen gets paid off of the $4,000, not the $5,000, because $4,000 is what is stayed in the market center, not the full $5,000.
Okay, so in this example you have on the screen, it will be off the 5,000. Well, actually, it will be after the
So it would be after the referral. I don't know what happened here. Apparently, I gave myself $190 at the end of this transaction. But yeah, it would be after the referral
John
amount.
Smith, after John Smith.
After John Smith's referral. So it would be the 5,000 minus this. So I don't think I refreshed it afterwards, so it didn't update the figures there. So it still shows the 5,000. I should have clicked calculate commission again after I did it, but I submitted it anyways. But yeah, so just it's always going to be, it's on the gross, but if there is a referral that's not staying in the market center, it's, it's going to only be based off of what is actually staying in the market center. And of course, she doesn't take on rentals, so it's only on sales and listings.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you that next.
Yep. No, not for rentals. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to put it in anything in for rentals. It's fine. But yeah, we do like you guys to put it in yourselves, because then it gives you a more accurate number of what your productivity coaching is. I mean, what your net commission is going to be, because it takes out the productivity coaching. If you forget to put it in, you might see a higher number here, and then you get the check and it's slightly less. And that's the reason why. It's because the productivity coaching was taken out, but it wasn't entered here. Yeah. Anybody else? Questions?
Just to follow up with the rental part, because I saw that you had a section there for co-broker. So let's say I'm representing the tenant, right? Do I have to add a co-broker in that scenario?
So yeah, so the co-broker would be whatever agent is representing the landlord.
Okay.
On that, because especially, important for rentals, because on rentals, if you're representing the tenant, we're billing that other brokerage for your commission in most situations. So we want to have their information so we know who to send the invoice to on your behalf.
All right. Got it. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you very much, Sam.
Anybody else?
Can I follow up with that one too? Just to clarify, adding a co-broker, you always do, right? Regardless if it's someone in our own market center or if it's a Coldwell Banker or
Yes,
whoever.
yep. Always add them in, especially because if it is somebody in our market center, maybe you submitted your commission request, but they haven't yet. So now I see you submitted yours. I know who's on the other side of the deal, and I can follow up with them to submit theirs, because neither of them is getting accepted and pulled through until both of them are submitted.
Okay, and then add another agent is only if it's like a team, or you're splitting it with somebody else in the. Okay.
Yes. Yep. If you're on a team, you can put, your rainmaker in, maybe you're co-listing this with somebody in the office. That's fine. This is adding another agent is also where you can put in referrals that are in your office. So if you got this from somebody else in the office, rather than putting them as a referral, you can just add them as another agent. Okay. And then it'll just pull through into our system, giving them X amount of money and giving you X amount of money. Yeah.
Sam.
Yes.
So I was looking here and I just got an email saying that the MCA rejected my commission for the following reason.
Oh, you got an email?
Huh?
Did you get an email or notification in?
A notification, not an email,
Okay.
on that little bell. And it says accepted listing agent commission request and added your info on it. So no need to resubmit.
Yes. So in that case, whoever was on the other side of the transaction, I don't know who it was on that transaction, we took their submitted commission request and we approved that one and pulled that one through, and we just added you as an agent to it. We just do that on the back end, again, to avoid us having multiple entries for the same transaction.
All right.
We don't want to have two for 123 Main Street, and then we're only going to get one check-in, and we've got to split it between the two. And one person has one closing date, one person has a different closing date. one person has one sales price, one person has a different sales price, it can get confusing if, there's different information on the commission requests or on the entries for the same transaction. So we just accept one and add usually the buyer side to the listing agent's commission.
Perfect.
That makes sense.
Sam,
Anything else?
I
Yep.
have a question. If I do just a referral to some other marketing center, should I do invoice or they taking care of invoice and they just send it as a check?
They're usually just sending us a check.
So
And in that case,
I don't need to do nothing, right?
the only thing you do is you create an opportunity. So, put
Mhm.
whoever the referred client is as the contact, create an opportunity.
I'm sending referral, so it's already in the system, right? He accepted referral and
You would just need to create the opportunity and upload your referral information. Maybe it's just a screenshot of the referral from command. Maybe you have a formal referral form. Maybe it ends up just being like an email chain that you guys have back and forth. Whatever you have so that we know, yes, there's agreed upon for this referral and how much the referral should be. So that if we get a check, we can kind of compare it and make sure that it's right before we process it for you. Because if it's too little, we have to go back to them and ask for more.
okay.
So,
Sounds
but
good.
that's all you have to do. No commission requests, no invoice. If they ask for an invoice, you can just email me. It's very rare. I've only had like one time where a referral has asked for an invoice from us. But it does happen. So just email me. Well, we don't normally send out invoices for referrals.
Even if it's in KW, right? If I'm sending like just different.
To another like market center somewhere else. Yeah, same thing. We don't usually send out invoices. Normally they enter the referral on their side and the MCA just pays you when the transaction closes. That's typically how it's done.
Sam, I have a question on
Yeah.
following that too. Let's say that when you put in a referral, you really don't know, what the referral you made, what they're going to buy, how much they're going to actually pay, what the final sale price is and everything. You kind of know what the budget is, but that can change drastically over time. When the referring, when they pay you the referral, do they send you the detailed information of what the final property was?
So
And
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Usually if it's KW office, we always get like a closing paperwork for it. A lot of times on the top of the check, even for other brokerages, it'll detail out, the sales price and commission percentage on the top.
Okay.
So usually we have that information.
Because what was in my opportunity was drastically different than what the actual final price was. Do I need to change the opportunity?
No, you
or-
don't need to change the opportunity. If you want to just, shoot an email to me saying, that this transaction closed for X amount of money, and it's a 25% referral, 30% referral. That way, when we get the check, we can just be like, oh, okay, we'll compare it to the information that you do have.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else? Any other questions on the commission requests?
Is it recorded or no? Can we?
This is, yes, this is being recorded.
Mhm.
So it should be up on the YouTube, probably tomorrow. Trying to think if there's anything else relevant. Just in case any of you don't know, when you're submitting documents, over here on the left-hand side, these listed under contract closed are actually different, I call them folders, folders with different checklists on them. So I see a lot of times people put documents here, and then I get an email saying, well, where do I put the contract? Or where do I put, this document? Those documents like the contract purchase agreement would go under the under contract folder, and the listed folder is for your listing contract, your agency disclosure, those kinds of documents. Essentially documents that only require one signature, your clients, go here in the first listed, or if it's a buyer, it's under its consultation. And then documents that require both signatures, fully signed purchase agreement contract, fully signed disclosures, goes under the under contract folder. So just a tip, because I see it a lot where people put all the documents in here and they just keep adding documents to the checklist, when there's actually a placeholder, just got to click on right over there. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I have one final question.
Sure, Kathleen.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'd rather you guys ask questions.
Timing. To do the commission, do you want it, you want it as soon, I know technically we fill everything out when there's an accepted offer, but to actually fill out the commission sheet, do you want it to be?
So
when the
submitting your
contract is
commission, that is a
signed,
great question. Everything is within 3 days of an accepted offer. That's when your commission request should be submitted to the market center. That gives us enough time to make sure we invoice this properly. And there's no last minute anything. We're not holding up a transaction because they're waiting for an invoice. It gives us time to review the documents, etc. So if there's any changes after you submitted, just email your MCA. We can, adjust the sales price, the commission split, terminate the transaction, whatever needs to be done, we can do that. But we do want the information within 3 days of an accepted offer.
We will. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Any other questions? I am here if you have questions.
Hi. I was having some problems logging on, so I was not able to see the complete. Would I be able to? Do you have this recorded?
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
recorded, so it should be up, my guess is by tomorrow, to the YouTube channel. And you guys can go back and review it anytime. And of course, I'm always here if you have questions about it. Trying to think, I don't know if there's anything else that really needs to be addressed at this point in terms of commissions. So I guess if nobody has any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the session. So this is your last chance.
Sam, can you
Yes,
just please put the link for the YouTube? Please?
for the video, the YouTube video, once it's up.
Yes, please.
I will ask to see if they can just send out an email, because I don't have the link yet until it's actually uploaded, which will probably be tomorrow. So I'll ask if they can just send out the link to the video to everybody.
Thank you.
That will be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, like, you can review the video. If you have questions, you can always ask me. I'm here. Anybody else? Going once?
Just one quick question. When we resubmit a document, do we have to let you know, emailing you, or you'll get a notification?
When you resubmit a document, so if you resubmitted a document that we, is a required document, we would have returned your commission request as well. So we would have flagged the document and said, you're missing the lead disclosure, and then we would have returned your commission request to you. So this would say returned. So when you do submit that, resubmit whatever document needs to be uploaded, just go back in here and make sure you go and resubmit your commission request, because that resubmission of the commission request is the flag for us that you've completed, whatever needed to be changed on there.
So you do get a notification?
We do, as long as you resubmit the commission request. If you just upload the document, but you leave your commission request as returned, we're not going to know that you submitted that document and corrected whatever needed to be corrected. So just always make sure you're resubmitting your commission request to us, because that resubmission is the flag that tells us.
What if it's not a correction and it's just adding another required document?
So if you were missing if you were missing a required document, we would return your commission request.
Okay.
So we generally wouldn't approve the commission request unless we have all of the documents that we need.
So I have to go back to the commission area also and click resubmit, not just the document.
Just make sure that it's resubmitted. If you see that it's already says, submitted status, then you don't need to do anything. It's already submitted. Sometimes we will, maybe we're just missing a brick signature on the dual agency or something like that. I'm probably going to let pull everything through and just tell you to make sure you get Rick's signature on it.
Okay, you.
Just, you know, we try and weigh out what's the most, you know, important documents for you guys to submit and get those submitted, and with the signatures on them. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Hey, Sam, question.
Sure.
This is DocuSign related. Where do we find the documents that don't have the watermark on them? I know we could actually go in and edit them, but is there a way of just getting documents when you go into DocuSign?
So no, I don't know how many of the rest of you have had that issue with the sample watermark. So what we've been told is it's supposed to just be that you edit the form in the room before you put it in an envelope to get rid of the watermark. DocuSign just puts that watermark on all of the forms that we upload. If you just, you know, go into the back and look for just the documents, you'll see that I think all of them have the watermark on them. Once you pull them into the room and edit them, it should make the watermark disappear. If it doesn't, you know, do that and you put it in the envelope and you still see the watermark, let me know. Because we're trying to keep track of, you know, who this is happening to, you know, because it seems to be kind of random. It's not consistent.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? It's 12:01, so this is last call for any questions you have. You guys can always email me if you have any other questions, but if there's anything last minute here, I am more than happy to answer for you guys. Going once. Going
So
twice.
when is the last day that you can use the green sheet?
October 15th, which is next Friday. So if we
Okay.
receive it before end of business day on October 15th, we'll still process the green sheet. If you submit it to us on Saturday, the 16th, we're going to go back and tell you to please submit a commission request. And when we'll wait for that to be submitted to us.
Okay. All right. Woohoo, we have time.
You got, yeah,
Thank
about a week and a
you.
half. So
Thanks.
study up. All right, if nobody has any other questions, I'm going to just close out the meeting. And like I said, you guys can shoot me an email. What was that, Calvin?
Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Well, that's about it. So everybody have a good rest of the day and let me know if you guys have any questions.